this is Mike from Wacky Waffle Coffee Reviews, and today we're going to be whipping up 2 cappuccinos of Caffe Mauro Espresso blend. Before we get started on that though, let's get a quick rundown of our setup. So to start off, we have a baby Gaggia. This machine in particular was refurbished. It has a 58mm portafilter. Additionally, we also have a Breville Smart Grinder Pro, which again also supports 58mm baskets, and with that, let's get started. Alright guys, so let's whip up 2 cappuccinos for this. So let me tell you about this blend that we're going to brew up today. So it's Caffe Mauro, and it's actually technically a blend for mocha pots. And we're going to be weighing out 17.6 grams to go into the portafilter. Yeah, one of my usual tricks is light tamp in between just to make sure all the coffee stays in the bag. And let's see what our dose is at. Alright. Just got to adjust it. Alright, so that's 17.6 grams for the portafilter. Give it a good tamp. And something I just realized I forgot to do is put the milk in the frothing pitcher, which is something that I typically do beforehand. Now I'm feeling a little stupid I forgot about that, but not the end of the world. Yeah, I mean ideally it's nice to have the milk ready to go so you can just pop the portafilter straight in with the grounds very fresh, but realistically it doesn't make too much of a difference. And for 2 cappuccinos here, we're going to do 190 grams of milk. Alright, 192.5, 192. Good enough. Alright. And then, so this machine it's refurbished. It's a little finicky, but it works pretty well. That's my version of a pre-infusion. I know it's not a real pre-infusion, but better than nothing. I think it helps to some extent at the very least. Alright, and next up, just tear the scale if it ever wants to tear. Oh, come on. Alright, good enough. That's actually good. Alright. And then so we're looking to get about 37 or so grams in about 25 seconds. This blend's pretty good. It's not exactly the strongest by any means, but I would say in general it produces a clean and agreeable finish. No like specific tasting notes exactly, but not the worst by any means. Alright, so we got 28 seconds, and in 28 seconds we got 34 grams, about what we've been usually getting with this blend. If you notice, if you want to take a look in a second, we actually have some pretty good crema going on. You know, definitely a little bit more blonding on the shot than is ideal, but I'm sure it'll still be pretty good. Right, next up, we have the machine heating up for steaming the milk. Just get that portafilter out of the way. Clean up our setup. So now we're gonna steam our milk. One thing that I've figured out on my own, which I haven't really found anywhere else online, is basically, so this machine has something called a panorella wand. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it basically means that the steam wand actually has a little hole in the top where the air can actually go in and it incorporates into the milk as it's frothing. So it makes it a little bit easier to get like a good froth in your milk, but I found that it can be kind of tricky to actually get it to work effectively. And so one of the things that I usually do is actually stop halfway in between. So I start off with the cold milk, and then I let it froth to a certain extent. And then once the pitcher is about like lukewarm to the touch, I stop. I let the machine get a little bit more steam back in the boiler. And I also try to make sure that the milk itself is not incredibly bubbly at this point, but a good amount of the air has actually already been introduced into the milk already. And so now we're ready for the second steaming. And for that, we typically want to go till the bottom of the pitcher is slightly too hot to touch. One thing I found with this machine, again, it's refurbished, so it's not exactly the most consistent with regards to the foam that you actually get. It's a little bit hit or miss. It's very finicky, but yeah, it works. Just turn off the machine. Purge the steam wand. And incorporate the milk as best we can. Again, not the greatest froth, but still very tasty. Oh, I'm making a mess. Yeah, just trying to get as many of those large air bubbles out as you can before you actually pour the steamed milk. Alright, and get our first one done. I am no latte artist by any means, but it should still taste pretty good. Alright, and 2 cappuccinos, which will be tasted by our other 2 members of Wacky Waffle Coffee Reviews.
Hey guys, I'm Matt, second member of Wacky Waffle Coffee Reviews.
Alright, I'm actually going to take a sip just to see how it tastes, but our third member, who is off camera actually right now, is going to have the rest of it. So, let's see how this tastes. Caffe Mauro. It's pretty good. This in particular, I gotta say, was maybe a touch over extracted, right, Matt?
I would say so.
Yeah, overall, still pretty good. Very, very agreeable.
One thing to keep in mind when making cappuccinos is to not overheat the milk, and this milk is definitely the right temperature.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially in Starbucks, let's say, baristas tend to overheat the milk, which, like, again, you want to make it so it's not too hot. Ideal temperature range is, I think, about 135 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything beyond that, first off, it's too hot to actually drink. And second, it doesn't taste good. It makes the coffee taste even more burnt than it already probably is. Alright guys, so that just about sums up our video. Hope you enjoyed our review. Again, just to sum up, that was Caffe Mauro. Overall, decent blend, not exactly strong, no real like serious tasting notes. In general, extracts pretty well, not too hard to get a good shot out of it. That just about sums it up. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any other coffee blends you would like us to review, let us know in the comments. Additionally, any coffee shops, let us know. That's about it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.